Hey, this is Josh at Codyco Farm, and today we're looking at onions. And what you're going to see in this video is the culmination of a lot of years of work and collecting and evaluating. And so I'm really pleased to finally present what I think is some pretty cool information here. So here we have 6 types of perennial onions. Some of these are kind of perennial, which I'll explain in a second. But you know, onions and alliums, generally, that's the onion garlic group, are one of the most important foods for cuisine all around the world. It really doesn't matter where you live, there's some kind of allium that's in the food. They're something that makes food taste great, they're nutritious, and they grow in many types of climates. So they're one of the most important vegetables that we have in the world. I think in the top 3 vegetables consumed would be cabbage, tomatoes, and onions. So, none of these are exactly onions, but they're all things that are eaten as green onions or scallions or chives or whatever. It's a little blurry what's what between what all those words exactly mean. But as you see, none of these are big bulb onions. We certainly can grow big bulb onions here in Florida, but my goal of this video is to show these varieties that you get them once and then you have them forever. And that's what excites me about these, is the self-sufficiency aspect of them. And I just like to have these kind of things. I don't have to order every year. You get it and then you have it. Some of these are green through the whole year, some are not. So we're gonna walk through each variety, and then after we talk about them botanically, we're gonna do a little bit of a tasting inside and try to convey as much information about these as possible. What you're seeing here are the best of lots of things that I've tried onion-wise. Certainly over 20 kinds of perennial type onions I've tried, and these are so far our winners. We currently have some of these on the website, some we don't right now, but we will soon. If you're watching this in the future, which is probably likely, maybe these are on our website, so go check it out at codycofarm.com. Okay, so the first one, the first 3 we're going to look at are all ones that they die back and you store them in the house, and then you replant them. So I'll explain a little bit about that. Okay, so these 3 varieties we're gonna look at. The way this works is they're probably types of Allium cepa aggregatum, but maybe not. You know, it's very hard to say with all these what they actually are. The way these work is, so you plant dormant bulbs in like September 1st. You come out to your garden, plant them. It's still hot, but pretty soon the weather's going to start transitioning towards winter. They will sprout in the heat, and they grow, and then they quickly divide up. As you can see, one bulb can turn into a cluster of maybe 10 or 15 here. You can also plant a whole cluster of bulbs and get a big, quicker establishing plant. Now, through the late fall and winter, you can tease these apart and plant them like this. You would cut them back, tease them apart, eat what you want, and replant a section. And but then what's going to happen is around the first few weeks of May, well, starting in April, you're going to see it start to turn all yellow and get kind of sickly, and then it goes dormant and forms onion bulbs, a cluster of small bulbs. You can eat the small bulbs, but they're a little small for me to want to mess with typically. And then when you see the plant completely die back, before it disappears and withers away, you want to dig it up. You bring the bulbs into a shed or a pole barn or your porch, let them dry until they're completely dry. Then you just put them in a shoebox in your house. Hold them through the summer, pull them back out, and replant them September 1st. So they're not really perennials in the sense that they're not in the ground for the same plant in the ground in the same spot, but it is kind of a perennial in the sense that you'll have it, and yes, you got to do the work of digging it up and replanting it, but you'll have it once you get it. Okay, so this one is called the Florida Finley onion. This one was gifted to me by a local person, and this has a history in our county here, Polk County, going back 50, 60 years at least. And the family this came from kept it in their gardens. They brought it inside and replanted every year for years and years and years and years. So what's cool is that this one has a track record here in our area of the state of being a long-term success. Okay, the second one. This one is called Akakai. very similar to this in many regards. It is planted and harvested and grows on the same exact growth cycle as the Florida Finley onion. This is Akakai from Hawaii. This was kindly gifted to us by my friend Chris Homanix. Thank you, Chris, if you're watching this. Same kind of deal. You know, you put the bulbs away. The bulbs, they're not red now, but the bulbs turn red, or at least the skin of the bulb turns red when they're dormant. So very similar. Now, differences between the two. The Akakai seems to have a little bit of a milder flavor. Some people seem to prefer the harsher, or stronger, I should say, flavor of the Finley. And the Akakai, even as you can see here, just a little bigger and more vigorous. So they both have their merits. They taste a little different, as we're going to talk later, but you know, if you just wanted the strongest plant, you might go for this Akakai, but this does have the advantage of being a really cool Florida heirloom. Okay, now here's a newer one. We haven't offered this one yet, but we certainly plan to. This one apparently comes from Taiwan. It's called Sangshi, if I'm saying that right. Now, the legend of this on the internet is that this tastes so great, and there's a big culture around this Taiwan, and people travel out to the countryside for agritourism to walk in these fields and eat this thing. So I was able to find a source for it, and here it is. Now this is a little smaller, not because it's a weaker plant, but because I got around to planting these later. So I actually think this plant can grow a little bigger than these ones, and I really don't have the track record yet with this one to say much, though I expect it to be basically like these. Last year it went dormant in May, just like these do. The bulbs stored perfectly well through the summer, and then when we planted them in the fall, they came up, and so we have, you know, one full cycle with this one, and it sure seems like that's going to continue to be the case. So we'll continue evaluating, and we will make this one available as soon as possible. Generally seems similar to these other two, but again, we need more time to learn the differences. Quite an interesting candidate there. Okay, now this one, now we're moving into ones that are green year-round. So this side of the table, they die back, you store the bulbs. These ones you plant, you can eat them all year. Now, onions love cool weather. I'm wearing a beanie right now. It's winter here in Florida. The temperatures are cool. This is the best weather for onions. So ones that can grow, onions and onion relatives that can grow in high heat are the exception. So that's where we're going to get into here, is ones that stay green through the heat. These have really good potential, certainly here in Florida, that 6 months of the year where all this kind of stuff goes away, onions go away, you can't grow leeks and all these types of alliums when it's real hot. That's where these come in. And then also for the tropics, there's great potential for this kind of thing. Okay, so this one is really quite special to me. This came from a Guatemalan gardener here in Florida, and this woman is actually indigenous Guatemalan. She speaks a native language there, and she kindly shared this with us. Her name is Maria. What's interesting about this one is I have not been able to botanically identify it. At first, you might think that it's garlic chives, this, based on the flat leaf, but because of the shape of the bulbs, the flavor, the way the flower looks, and a number of other reasons, I'm quite sure it's not a form of garlic chives or Allium tuberosum. So at this point, we call this an Allium species. We don't know what it is. Speaking with people from Guatemala, they generally don't know this, but another person that came to visit from the Mum culture, another indigenous group in Guatemala, did know it. So this seems to be something that is mostly known in the kind of more remote indigenous areas in Guatemala. Is it something that was domesticated there that goes back thousands of years? Or is this some kind of thing that the Spanish introduced very early? Don't know. Can't even figure out what species it is, but quite interesting. Now this one, what makes it special is it grows through the whole year, and you can harvest it perfectly great when you're out there sweating in August when it's super hot. All the tropical stuff is growing. Many of these kinds of things are long gone. This looks just like this, right in the middle of the summer. And you come on this one and you just give it a haircut and you take the tops. What's interesting is everything white. Now, when I first got this, I thought, man, look at the bulbs. This thing is just going to be awesome. These bulbs taste terrible. They're bitter. They honestly taste like poison. But the top tastes incredible. So everything that's green is, it's a strong flavor. It's a very potent, strong flavor, but quite good. So this is similar to garlic chives, which we're going to talk about next, in a number of ways. But at this point, I do prefer this one. And as you can see, as with all of these, you can just tease these apart. And when you do that, you cut them back and you just plant a bulb, and they grow. And then one will turn into 20, tear that apart. I started with a few and quickly have turned it into thousands of bulbs. And this one we do have all year round because it grows all year round, so we can ship you these divisions. Okay, this one is garlic chives, or Allium tuberosum, not to be confused with society garlic, another ornamental that you'll see around. Now, you might be looking at this thinking, man, my garlic chives is like half that size. Well, yes, this is a special variety of garlic chives. I've messed around with a number of different varieties and found this one to be ultra tall and vigorous and wider leaves and a lot more robust than the standard old garlic chives. So this is Allium tuberosum. Now you can see the structure of the underground parts is very different than the Maria's. We call this Maria's 365 chive, I should have said, because it's kind of eaten like a chive and it's available 365 days of the year. This one, this is from China. It's a very important vegetable in some parts of China, including the flower shoots, though we don't tend to get a lot of those here in Florida. And this one is the same as the Maria's in that you eat the green part. You don't really eat, even though it's called Allium tuberosum, it's one of the few alliums you don't eat the underground part. You eat the greens. Flavor-wise, you know, this isn't my favorite, but historically in Florida, this has been all you've got in the summertime for an onion. Everything else goes away typically. So the thing this brings to the table is really high heat tolerance, and it's a nice, you know, it's good, it's fine. I just tend to prefer these other ones if I've just got to pick one to eat, but it's plenty good. Plenty of people like to eat it. Now this thrives in heat as well as cold, and this has made a real impact. I believe it's the Central Plateau area of Haiti. This has taken off. People grow these in containers, which they set up high away from chickens and stuff. And there's like a little garlic chive revolution, I guess, that's been going on down in Haiti because this is so well adapted to the tropical weather there. These kind of things, again, high potential for warm climate areas where other alliums may not be able to grow. So that's garlic chives. We got to come up with a name for this one because you can see it's quite larger than you might be used to seeing for this species. Okay, and then our last one. This is still under development by us, but we're a few years into this project and hopefully we'll be taking this forward soon. So this one is Allium fistulosum, which is, when you eat green onion from the store, typically that's a form of Allium fistulosum. The leaves are hollow, like they are on an onion, the same as these first three we looked at, hollow leaves, not flat. And so when I started the project to try to find a good Allium fistulosum, I started with 4 varieties that I had researched would be perennial type fistulosums, meaning they don't just flower and die or die in the heat, but they can divide and grow for years, and you can just tease them apart and plant. Because, you know, for most gardeners, a lot of people struggle with starting seeds, especially onion seeds. They're so small, they're kind of hard to start. So for people to be able to just, you take this, harvest a top, and then just replant this piece, easy, easy, easy. So that's kind of what I've been trying to find, is things that are like this, because this is going to be viable for a lot of people that starting seeds is not. Okay, so we started with 4 kinds of perennial Allium fistulosum, and it was a little hard to choose, but I think we finally settled that this is our best candidate. This one is called Koba from Hawaii, and what I like about it is it divides a lot. It stays green through the whole year. Now, this one, when the heat is really punishing for months and months, it does start to get a little worn down. Yeah, you could eat it. It's there, and it can be good. By the end of the summer, it's a little worn out and not so great looking and great to eat. Maybe with, staying on things a little, you could keep it healthier. But it's really probably like 9 months of the year this is really nice to harvest. And then a few months, you can, but there might be some time in there it's not at its ideal. It just gets a little yellow and beat up. Then when the weather cools down, it comes back and starts dividing again, and it's quite nice. Now, what's unique about this one is this can produce lots of seed. It's very easy to produce the seed, where we don't see seed production really in these ones. You can, though, in garlic chives. So we plan to offer seeds of this as well as live divisions going forward. And what's important with growing seed on alliums is they're outcrossing, meaning they need to cross with other varieties to generate nice, healthy, robust populations. So we're going to keep multiple different clones of this always going, so that when we do get seed, it's properly outcrossed with other individuals to keep a nice, healthy population. This one's called Koba from Hawaii. Big promise with this one. Again, I'm still kind of in the learning phase, but 2-3 years in, whatever it is now, this has survived 2 summers quite well. So excited about the potential of this one. Again, probably many of you might be watching this 5 years from now, and this is already something that we've got a lot more time with. Okay, so there's our onions, and we're going to now take a look at eating them and talk about what that's like. All right, so thanks for watching. All right, so we're here in the kitchen with our 6 types of onions, and what we did is we cut them up real fine in the bowls. On the ones that you can eat the base, we included parts of the base, so you get more like an onion on those ones. So that would be Finley, Akakai, Sangshi, and Koba. And we cooked some quinoa and eggs just with salt and butter, and then we put it on there while it was still hot, so the onions soften a little, kind of like you would actually eat a meal of these, is how we tried to do it, so that we could get a taste of them and the way you would actually eat them. Okay, so we'll start with the Finley onion. The reason that we put food with it is if you just taste these onions raw, it starts to get like nauseating, and you can't tell the difference from one to the next because the flavor is so intense and lingers. So we thought it'd be best to eat it with food.
Finley just tastes like a green onion from the grocery store. Fairly mild, maybe a little more mild.
The stem parts taste like an onion.
Yeah, not as strong as a regular onion. More like a green onion.
Yeah, it's, I don't know,
It's
good,
green onion.
great green onion. Yep. Okay, this is Akakai. Maybe milder.
Yeah.
I think I like Finley a little better.
I think so too.
plenty good. If I didn't have anything to compare it to, I would say it's perfectly great. But
it's very mild tasting.
mm-hmm. I think a little less flavor and
texture-wise, pretty much the same. Maybe slightly slimier.
Yeah, I like that better so far. Okay, this one is the Shangxi, and this is what apparently people travel to the Taiwanese countryside to eat this. Apparently, so.
Sweeter.
Sweeter.
It's almost like sweeter and spicier.
Yeah. These are all pretty similar. I think I like this best, the Finley.
There's something unique about this one that I can't quite. It's almost like fresher tasting. I don't know. They all
Very
just kinda
similar.
Taste like green onions.
I do think this has a little bit of an edge.
I agree so far.
And yeah, again, it's like if you didn't have the other ones to compare to, pretty similar overall. But
yeah.
Okay, Maria's. We don't know what species this one is.
Leaves are tougher.
A little tougher.
Not as flavorful. After eating those, this tastes less flavorful.
I generally thought of this one as being very pungent.
Yeah, and like garlicky. Maybe after you taste so many, your taste buds kind of start to go numb.
It tastes very good to me. Tastes like an onion.
Yeah.
Okay. It would have been interesting to do this blindfolded.
Yeah. This one does leave like a spicier
aftertaste
taste in your mouth at the end.
Garlic chives. Allium tuberosum.
It is garlicky.
Yeah. That's my least favorite.
More garlicky. Quiet ready. But also has a little bit of like a funkiness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some people say it tastes skunky. I think that's kind of right. It's fine.
Yeah, I wouldn't quite go that far to describe it as skunky, but something along those lines, yeah.
It's fine. Okay. This is the Coba Allium fistulosum.
Maybe the most mild of all of them.
Yeah.
Like I need another bite because I'm like, did I taste that?
It's the most mild, very like subdued.
Also has a similar sweetness though to this one.
And the stems taste real good.
Mm-hmm.
Like an onion.
These two have like a sweet kind of like refreshing almost. taste.
All right. Well, honestly, they're all pretty good. For
Yeah,
me,
kind of an underwhelming tasting. Not
Yeah.
underwhelming in that they're not that great, but
kind of they're all good.
they're all good. They're not that different.
Yeah. So, to me, this is definitely the one standout that I was like, not as personally. I mean, I will eat it fine, but I would rather have the other 5. It's nice on these 4 to get the stem in there. It's definitely nice. It's like an onion. You know, if you chopped all this stem material up, you've got about as much volume as an onion. So, no, it's not a bulb onion, but when you add all that up, you basically have an onion there.
Yeah, it's not as
It's not as
pungent
wonderful and
as a
pungent as an
regular
onion,
onion,
but I
but-
mean, it's,
Yeah.
My gut, I actually think I like the Finley the best.
I agree.
But I think cooking these, you would probably lose all the nuance even more.
Yeah.
And they would all just end up being quite similar once they're cooked. Fresh, they're all good. The advantage again with these 3, you have them all year round. So they all have their different horticultural traits, and they're all pretty good. So yeah, I don't know what else to say. They're all good. Nothing too revelatory learned here, but interesting to do. All right. Hope you enjoyed watching. See you later. Bye.